Hello, friends. Welcome to another session of the Grace Campaign. Today is day 25 of our Grace Campaign. Oh, it's almost coming to an end. Oh, I hope you're enjoying this campaign as much as I am. The Grace Campaign is a 30-day journey that I embarked on, where on a daily basis, I come to talk about the grace of God. And it was inspired by my latest book, Mama Grace. This is a copy of Mama Grace in my hand. Mama Grace was released a few weeks ago, and around the world, people are already beginning to enjoy it. So if you don't yet have your own copy, I want you to grab a copy right now. You can get a copy on Amazon, amazon.com, amazon.co.uk, or whatever Amazon website that operates in your country. And if you live in Africa, you can also get a copy of it, the digital copy of it on Okada Books. So get a copy right now and begin to enjoy the grace of God. Because Mama Grace talks about understanding and living out the grace of God. It will help you to get a deeper understanding of the grace of God, and it will also help you to live out that grace of God. And what I'm speaking about today is a very practical area that we need the grace of God. That is the area of grieving. When you've lost something or someone very dear to you and you are going through that grieving process, you need the grace of God. I started to talk about it yesterday, where I mentioned to you 4 major areas that I had lost within a space of 6 years. And the grace of God helped me to overcome that loss. So it is the same comfort, it is the same grace that I have received that I'm bringing to you as I share briefly with you today. And I also share with you in the book, where you'll be able to get a fuller understanding of what I am talking about. So today I'm going to be talking about how to appropriate grace in grief. How to appropriate grace in grief. I mentioned different things that we can do to appropriate the grace of God when we are grieving. But today I'm just going to share one of it with you. And that is, I say, cry out to him. Cry out to him. As a parent, if my child is crying, I don't ignore that child. My children are grown up now, they're adults now. But if I see them crying as an adult, I will not still turn my back. I will still want to find out what is happening. I will still want to render whatever support I can to them to help them to overcome that grief. And especially if the child cries to you. I've not seen a parent that a child will cry to and you just push a child away and that you don't care. So most of the time when you see a child crying to you, even if you're not the parent, you see a child crying to you, you want to carry that child, you want to comfort that child. And that is the same thing that happens when we are grieving and we cry out to God. He hears us and he comforts us and he gives us the grace to overcome whatever grief or whatever is causing that pain in our life. In Psalm 62, verse 2 and 3, from the New King James Version, it says, "From the ends of the earth, I will cry to you. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is stronger than I. For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from my enemy." This is the psalmist here, and this is where I just got that concept that when your heart is overwhelmed, when you feel that you've come to your wit's end, that you can't take it anymore, cry out to God because he is there to help you. And this is something that I have practiced over and over again, that when my heart is overwhelmed, all I do is just to go into the presence of God and cry out to him. And I've seen that happen over and over again, that each time I do it, I receive comfort. I receive the grace to move beyond whatever has happened. I got so much console me and heal me that when I get out of his presence, sometimes I feel like, I don't even remember that, I will remember, but sometimes I feel like the pain is just taking off as I cry unto him, because he's there to soothe you, he's there to comfort you. So whatever grief that you're going through right now, there is grace available. And this thing goes with the principle I was talking about, that we should come boldly to the throne of grace because there's grace available in the throne of grace. So when you come before God and you are crying out to him, you've come to that place where grace is available, and God will release the grace upon you to make you move through that grief. So this is day 25 of our grace campaign. Like I said, all I do is just to come and share bits and pieces from the book. There are other things that I talk about in the book of what you can do to appropriate the grace of God in your life. So I want you to grab a copy of this book, or grab it for somebody that is going through grief and it looks like they cannot move beyond that point. It looks like they've come to the end of their life. There is grace to overcome grief and continue to live your life and even continue to blossom for God beyond whatever has happened. So tap into that grace by grabbing a copy of this book or getting it for your friend or family that you know it will be a blessing to. So thank you once again for joining me, and I'll be with you again tomorrow for another session of the Grace Campaign. Until then, just continue to enjoy the grace of